How's it going, YouTube? Welcome back to My Comic Life. Now, if you're new here, My Comic Life is a comic vlog that comes out Monday through Friday. So if you like what you see here, go hit that subscribe button. Also, I'm going to be doing a giveaway. I'm going to be giving away either, it's your choice, Middle West, issue number 1, Gunning for Hits, issue number 1, or what should the third one, Sparrowhawk, issue number 1. All these books, I will give you your choice of which one you want digitally on Comixology, and the way you get into the running for these comics is the one of your choice is you have to be a subscriber. You have to leave me a comment. Now the comment tonight, or the question tonight, is the same as yesterday. What's the book that you are reading that is so good that you want other people to know about, but you notice that not a lot of people are talking about it? Because with me, I've been really trying to hone in on the independent side of the comic book scene. And there's so many books. Like Gunning for Hits, I have just been enjoying so much. Each and every issue is so different from the last. We have the story of a man who works for the music company, or the music corporation. And it's really about him and him talking about the music industry as a whole while trying to sign this band in the 90s. And it's just so wild. Every single panel, the panel layouts are so beautiful and so unique. And you can definitely tell that this creative team is taking the medium of comics and pushing it to its limits. The first issue at one moment goes into like this anime type of theme that is just like, whoa, okay. And then the second issue, it just changes things up, changes up the style. And it's just a book that is not for everybody. I think if you're just going in for like a Marvel and DC, a superhero romp, you're not going to get what you want. But if you love the medium of comics and you love what they can do, then I think you would really enjoy Gunning for Hits. So if you want to be in the running for Gunning Hits issue number 1, or Middle West issue number 1, or Sparrowhawk issue number 1, your choice. If you win, you get to choose which one of the 3 you want. I'll send you the digital version on Comixology. So let's get into my comic haul from Discount Comic Book Service. I was so happy to wake up this morning to fresh new comics, and then I remember yesterday I go and go into my backlog of comics that I bought in the past 3 months and organizing them and being like, I haven't read you. I haven't read you. I haven't read you. And then I get a whole batch of new comics. I'm like, shit. There's so many comics I gotta read. So tomorrow is New Comic Book Day. I've decided I'm not gonna go pick up my new number 1 or my new books for this week until I get a good hold on the books that I have now, because I got so many different books. I need to catch up. So let's get on to all the books that I got on Discount Comic Book Service. I was able to pick up Aliens 3, issue number 4. This is the unproduced screenplay for Aliens 3. Aliens 3 was a horrible. It was not. It was a horrible mess. So to see this unproduced screenplay, it has the feelings of Alien 1 with the feelings of Alien 2. It's a screenplay that's taken its time, and I believe with issue number 3, as you can tell from the cover, the aliens have finally come out to play. So really intrigued to see where this story goes. And I love how in this screenplay, Newt is alive, Ripley's alive, but she hasn't had played a big part into the story yet. So I just love the idea that Newt is alive, because she was such a cool character from the second movie that I was so disappointed to find out in the third film that she was dead. I mean, it was like, you got this really awesome child character that is a badass, and you just kill her off. God of Bad Men, your God hates you. I just saw the cover and the title for the series, and I was just like, I need to know what this book is about. It's done by Amigo. It has a $3.99 price tag, but it was like one of those series I was like, ooh, this book could be very controversial, and I just love that cover. So that's definitely a book that you'll be hearing me talking about in the upcoming week. Exciting Comics, issue number 1. Now, this is an anthology series that I think plays with characters that were created in the 40s and 50s. And so I'm just really excited to see what this book has in store. Now, I do believe that this single issue is selling for like 10 to 15 bucks on eBay. And knowing that I got it for like $1.50 just like puts a smile on my face. Now on to Aftershock's new number 1, Oberon. I heard that this book is kind of in the vein of Sparrowhawk, where Sparrowhawk has this girl who goes into this land of the fairies, where I hear that this book also takes place in a land of the fairies. So, really intrigued to see. I'm wondering what this human girl has to play into it. Maybe she gets sucked into this world and she has to kick some ass and take some names. Now, the thing I like about, I've been noticing with Aftershock, is that, like with their Hot Lunch Special. Now, Hot Lunch Special is over for now. But from what I asked the writer, I was like, hey, is Hot Lunch Special going to continue on after issue number 5? And what Aftershock does is that they say, all right, we're going to test out this series, basically make the first season, and see if we want to pick it up even more after this. So what they did with Hot Lunch Special, they ended the series, but they left it with enough so that they can go on and make some more. And also, Aftershock has them make the first volume, second volume, and then they take a break so that their writer and the artist can go off, do different things, and then that they know that they can just come back when they have the right story. And it feels like with Aftershock that the quality is stronger because of this whole entire construction that they have with their books. They're allowing their books and their creators to breathe and to take their time with it, and that when the series is coming out, it's coming out on time and with a complete story. We have Nice, issue number 3 of 4. This story is about this wheelman, this assassin, and this cop that's coming in after them. The artwork is very experimental at times. The person experiments with the panel layouts. It's very much is that book that this artist can take to like the Marvel and DC and be like, hey, look what I can do. So it's very much an amateur book, but I feel like the art is a lot stronger than the writing itself. The book at times can feel a little bit disjointed, but I'm really digging the art style. Cemetery Beach, issue number 6 of 7. Cemetery Beach has felt like a Mad Max type of story, where we have this guy who infiltrated this planet. He went to just find out, what's it about, to go and tell his superiors, and he gets caught. And now he's on the run. He escapes, and it's all about him getting to Cemetery Beach and trying to escape this crazy world. Because what happened is that Earth, some of the people went to this different planet. They have started their own different culture because of it, and us on Earth want to know what these people are up to. And it's some crazy stuff, and it's like a very fast-paced book that I think is going to be so much better to read in a trade paperback form, because each and every issue kind of hits the same beats, it feels like, because it hasn't had time to like rest and to like, so every single issue is just him on the run, and it's just really drinking some coffee. Really hasn't had time to catch his breath, and that's what I kind of feel like it needs. But I think if you read it in a trade paperback form, you won't need that breath. Stronghold, issue number 1. Another new Aftershock comic, and really intrigued to see where it goes. I have no idea what it's about, but I am always down for a new number 1. The second book by K Pictures Publishing, Appalachian Apocalypse, issue number 2. So this book has a crazy story. So back in the Civil War, I think the Confederates found the Staff of Moses. And the Staff of Moses can turn the dead into zombies. And the Yankees, I believe, they go and they put some dynamite in this cave, collapse the cave, and now the Staff of Moses and those zombies have been stuck in that cave up until today, where our main people go and explore this cave, and they find the Staff of Moses, and all hell breaks loose. This, as you can tell from the art with the big eyes, definitely has a anime type of feel to it. The art is good, but not great. It's very much is an amateur type of book, but the storyline is just so crazy and so wacky that I'm just like, it feels like a Saturday morning cartoon, and I'm always down for that. That's the one thing I love about reading independent books, is that they are so different. Each and every series or each and every book that I read is so different from the last at times. Where you have a comedy, you can have a love story, you can have a girl kick-ass book. And where if you just read Marvel and DC, you're just getting the superhero story over and over again. It's all about the continuity and the next big event, where with each and every new series that I'm reading here, I feel like there's actually stakes, unlike in the Marvel and DC landscape. Death Orb, issue number 5 of 5. Now, this series is about a man who his wife was killed by this guy that basically runs his own city, almost like a president of sorts. And the story takes place in a post-apocalyptic landscape, and our main hero, our main antagonist, has gone out to go and assassinate this guy, and he's got himself around with some really crazy different cast of characters. We have this one guy who is a samurai, and he believes that when you see what he sees himself in Japan in the like 1800s, and he's a samurai warrior going to kick some ass and take some names. So it's just a book that's just it's full of so much life and energy, and you never know what's going to happen next. Like, the thing about this book is that this writer knows how to end an individual issue. He always ends it with a cliffhanger that makes you go, well, damn, I have to get the next issue. So, really intrigued to see how this story arc ends, and I'm glad to know that this story is going to continue on in a later date. Because that's one thing I like about, I noticed with like Dark Horse, they'll put out the first trade paperback, wait a little bit, let the writer, as like with Aftershock, let the writer and the team catch their breath, figure out where they want to go with the story from there. Errand Boys, issue number 5 of 5. This series I've really enjoyed. The first 2 issues, I was just blown away by the art. The artist, the way he creates his alien creatures, as you can see from here, is always so unique. Now, the story is about this man who, he had a pretty messed up childhood. His dad left him. His mother has just recently passed away, and then he comes to find out that his father had a new wife, and they had a child. So he has a stepbrother. An accident happens, and the father and the mother die, and now his stepbrother, he's the only family he has left. So it's about them coming together and becoming brothers, and it's a really cool little story. It's about like the haves and have-nots, where the older brother, he lived his life on the streets, living day by day, where his brother lived almost the high life, where he was able to have everything that the older brother wanted to have. So it was a cool little back and forth between the two, and while they're working for this Errand Boys agency. So some cool little, really cool sci-fi stuff right there. James Bond 007, issue number 4. It's James Bond in comic book form. So it's really cool to see a new take on James Bond with some of the old characters that we saw in the previous films. So I've read issue number 1, enjoyed it. For some reason, I didn't get issue number 2. So I'm like, okay, I need to go back and get myself some more James Bond. Or find the issue number 2 so I can read issue number 3 and then issue number 4. Another really cool little sci-fi, this is like hard sci-fi, Light Steps, issue number 4 of 5. I hear this is based off of a game that's coming up. And usually with those, they can be hit or miss. In this one, it's more of a hit. We have this girl who lives in high society, and they had these weird religious beliefs, and she kind of went against them. So they took her and threw her into the abyss for going against their religion. And she comes to find herself rescued by this man who goes into deep space, and he farms these radio broadcasts from the 1940s or 50s from Earth, and he sells them on the market. So it's a really cool little hard sci-fi book that I have no idea where it's going to go, but I just love the sci-fi aspect of it, that I'm just like, okay, I'm down. Ooh, a new number 1, and a book that I have no idea what it's about. It's called Honor and Curse, where we have our guy on the cover that just sacrificing himself. Who knows what he did to what he did for his family to have himself do that to himself or to his empire. I don't know, but all I know is I'm so happy that with Discount Comic Services, I'm able to go and pick up the books that are in the backs of the preview pages, and get all these truly independent books that not everybody's talking about, because a lot of people, they can't get these books, but I can, and I can tell you what's good and what's not. Null Fairies issue number 2. This is a series I have dropped. It's very amateurish, and I already ordered issue number 3, but issue number 4 definitely not coming home with me. Savants issue number 2. This is by Source Point Press, and it's the story. It's almost like the X-Men, where we have all these different groups of people having these powers, and this agency going and trying to get them all together. The first issue I thought was a little bit disjointed at times, up until the halfway mark, where it really focuses in on 2 of our main characters, and they really kind of just focused the book and said, alright, here we go. And this finally had some traction to what the story is going to be. Sweetie, issue number 1. No idea what this is about, but it's Action Labs. It looked like a really, really awesome kick-ass girl comic. So, and I've been really like going into those books, and I'm just having a good time. That's the one thing I've been loving. It's like each and every different series I'm reading is so different. Wolfborne, issue number 1 by Scout Comics. No idea what this is about. But I see it's by Brian Middleton Jr., so I think he's doing the writing and the art. So intrigued to see what that's about. Sukabon Turbo. This is issue number 4, I think, of 5. So think of this series kind of like Clockwork Orange, where we have this group of girls who have created their own gang in high school, and they're just causing chaos all around them. Well, they get themselves mixed up with true bad people they're using them to sell their drugs to the high society people that they go to school with. And the drug dealers or drug suppliers basically went and messed with the Sukabon Turbos, and now they're going against them, and now it looks like a war is about to start. The first issue I felt like was just really mean-spirited, but issue number 2, it backtracked and focused more on the individual characters and not all the things that they've done up to this point, more of them as characters. And I was like, oh right, this book finally feels like it has traction, so I'm really intrigued to see where the 4th issue goes. Crimson Lotus, issue 4 of 5. I, at this point, have never read a Hellboy or BRPD book. So when I picked this series up, I didn't even notice it was by Hellboy. All I knew was like a new number 1. I was like, oh, I'll give it a try. And all I've read is the first issue. But I enjoyed the characters of this in this world, and I didn't feel like I missed anything. It was a really cool little jumping on point. So I'm definitely going to dive into the series and get all caught up. Smooth Criminals, issue number 4 of 5, or I think it's 4 of 12. This series is a really cool little action-packed adventure. We have this girl who stole diamonds back in the 60s, and she stole from the wrong person. She got caught, they threw her into this machine that basically put her on ice, and she was frozen for up until today, where this girl found her in this machine and broke her out, and now they're looking at stealing some more diamonds. So it's just a really cool, like almost like a Mission Impossible type of story. Now the final 2 books are some true independent books that are, it's like $1.50 Alterna Comics. Actual Roger, issue number 1, it was $1.50. And I just love all these different characters that you see. It looks like a really intriguing comic book story, or a superhero story. And I heard with these type of books that a lot of them are not that good, but at the price tag, it's always worth giving them a try. And then Unit 44 looks like another cool, like little independent book that hopefully is going to be good. And that's a 4-issue miniseries. So those are all the books that I picked up at Discount Comic Book Service. And it would have cost me $90 to pick up all those books at their price tag. But I got it for $50, which like puts a big smile on my face. So with Discount Comic Book Service, I'm picking them up and having them delivered to me once a month. And it's just like, I got a lot of reading to do, and I'm just really excited to do it. Because Discount Comic Book Service has really changed the game, and it's made me go, alright, I'm going to more focus on the independent side and leave the Marvel and DC to like everyone else. Because I know that those Marvel and DC reviews of those books get a lot more views, but I want to focus in on these independents and try to point you guys into directions of some really great comics. So, my name is David Lee. If you liked what you've seen here, go hit the subscribe button. And if you want to get in the running for your choice of 3 different books, Middle West issue number 1, Gunning for Hits issue number 1, or Sparrowhawk issue number 1, digitally on Comicology, leave a comment down below. Tell me, what books are you enjoying that you notice that's not getting a lot of or a lot of videos done about them on YouTube, or not a lot of people are talking about it. And so, with that, this was my comic haul, and I'll see you guys next time.